You think time disappears slowly. It doesn't. It leaks while you're convinced you still have control, not in dramatic moments, not in failure, but in the quiet routines you defend every day. The habits you call normal. The delays you justify as patience. That's where the damage happens. 5 years don't vanish because you made one bad decision. They vanish because you made the same safe one over and over and told yourself it didn't matter. Right now, as you listen, there is already a version of you that stayed exactly the same. Same thoughts, same reactions, same excuses. That version feels comfortable, familiar, and completely invisible to you. That's the trap. You don't notice decline when it comes dressed as stability. You only notice it when it's too late to negotiate with it. People assume losing years looks like chaos. It doesn't. It looks like calm. It looks like consistency without progress. It looks like waking up and thinking tomorrow will somehow be different without changing anything today. That belief alone has already cost you more time than you realize. Because time doesn't respond to intention. It responds to behavior. And behavior follows identity, not motivation. You think you're waiting for clarity. You're not. You're waiting to feel safe. And safety is the most expensive drug there is. It dulls urgency. It slows perception. It makes 5 years feel like 5 months. That's why average lives feel short, even when they're long. Nothing sharp enough ever happened to mark the passage. No internal line was crossed. No irreversible choice was made. Just small retreats disguised as logic. You don't need to be reckless to lose years. You just need to hesitate in the same place long enough. The world doesn't punish hesitation loudly. It rewards it quietly by letting you stay where you are while others move. And by the time you look up, the gap isn't emotional anymore. It's structural. Networks built without you. Skills compounded without you. Confidence hardened without you. You call it bad timing. It's not. It's accumulated absence. The most dangerous part is that you still feel intelligent while it happens. You still analyze. You still plan. You still think. But thinking without pressure slowly turns into avoidance that feels productive. That's how 5 years disappear without resistance. Not stolen, not taken. Handed over calmly, one reasonable moment at a time. You wake up each day believing time is neutral, that it simply passes while you live inside it. That belief is convenient because it removes responsibility. If time were an enemy, you would have to fight it. If time were a judge, you would have to justify yourself. So instead, you treat it like background noise, something that exists but does not watch. That is the first mistake. Time is not passive. It is selective. It rewards momentum and quietly erases hesitation. It does not punish loudly. It subtracts silently. You don't feel it when it happens. You notice only later, when something feels missing, and you can't explain why. The 5 years you are losing are not stolen all at once. They dissolve in fragments, in mornings that begin without intention, in decisions delayed because waiting feels safer than choosing, in conversations you replay later, realizing you were smaller than you needed to be. Each fragment seems harmless. Together they form a pattern, and patterns once repeated become identity. You tell yourself you are preparing, that you are gathering information, that clarity will arrive before action. This is a comfortable lie. Preparation without pressure is just avoidance with better language. Clarity does not come before movement. It comes after commitment. Most people never learn this because commitment feels like exposure, and exposure feels dangerous when your sense of self is fragile. So you delay, you observe, you stay flexible. What you are really doing is teaching time that you are optional. Watch how this shows up in your daily behavior. You negotiate with yourself over small things. You lower standards slightly. You accept conditions you would never design, not because you believe in them, but because resisting feels tiring. Over time, your nervous system adapts. It stops expecting more. It stops preparing for expansion. This is how 5 years disappear without drama. No collapse, no disaster, just quiet compliance. The most dangerous part is that nothing feels wrong enough to change. You are functional. You survive. You stay busy. You confuse motion with direction. And because there is no obvious pain, you assume there is no cost. But the cost is delayed. You don't lose 5 years because you are lazy. You lose them because you tolerate your own limitations. And time, which understands none of your excuses, continues forward without you. You don't lose those years loudly. They don't disappear in crisis or collapse. They evaporate quietly, disguised as routine, disguised as patience, disguised as waiting for the right moment. That's the trick. Time doesn't punish you for bad decisions first. It rewards hesitation with comfort. It gives you just enough stability to keep you still. And stillness, over time, becomes decay. You wake up repeating days that feel productive but lead nowhere. Busy but not dangerous. In motion but not advancing. That's how 5 years slip through your hands without resistance. You weren't lazy. You weren't ignorant. You were managed. Conditioned to believe that slow equals safe, that obedience equals maturity, that ambition should be postponed until permission arrives. It never does. Look closely and you'll notice something unsettling. The world reacts faster to men who act prematurely than to men who wait perfectly. Confidence, even when flawed, bends reality. Precision without presence dissolves. You've been taught to polish yourself endlessly while others step forward unfinished and take the space you hesitated to claim. That delay costs time, not minutes, years. The system doesn't need to crush you, it only needs to keep you reasonable. Reasonable men don't disrupt patterns. Reasonable men ask before they move. Reasonable men are predictable, and predictability is easy to ignore. That's why opportunities don't announce themselves to you anymore. They don't feel urgency around you. You radiate patience instead of pressure. And pressure is what forces doors open. Think back 5 years. You can probably name the moment you felt the shift. The moment you decided to wait instead of move. To refine instead of act. To stay silent instead of assert. You told yourself it was temporary, strategic, smart. But strategy without execution is just delay wearing a suit. While you were calibrating, others were committing. They made mistakes, yes, but mistakes create momentum. Momentum attracts attention. Attention creates leverage. You stayed clean, they stayed visible. Visibility compounds faster than skill in the early stages of any hierarchy. And hierarchies decide who gets taken seriously. This is the part no one tells you. Respect is not earned through readiness. It's assigned through presence. People decide how much time you're worth before they ever hear your explanation. They watch how quickly you occupy space, how little permission you require, how calmly you move without validation. Every year you hesitate trains the world to wait less for you. Eventually, they stop waiting at all. That's not cruelty. That's pattern recognition. And once that pattern sets, breaking it costs more than it ever would have to act early. That's the silent tax you're paying right now. Not money, time. 5 years leaking slowly because no one taught you that urgency is not recklessness. It's signal. Most people assume time disappears because of bad habits. That's the lie that keeps them comfortable. Time is not stolen by habits. It is surrendered through permission. The moment you allow your environment to set your pace, you begin bleeding years quietly. Not dramatically, not all at once. Slowly, respectably, in ways that look normal from the outside and fatal from within. Notice how days start to resemble each other. Same conversations, same emotional reactions, same problems replayed with different faces. This is not coincidence. This is conditioning. The brain learns efficiency, and efficiency becomes repetition. Repetition becomes identity. Identity becomes a cage that feels familiar enough to defend. Here is the part most men never catch. You don't lose years because you're lazy. You lose them because you are predictable. Your reactions are known. Your limits are visible. Your comfort zones are obvious. When the world can anticipate you, it no longer needs to challenge you. It simply lets you drift. Predictability is expensive. It costs ambition first, then urgency, then memory. You look back and can't remember when you stopped pushing because the transition was seamless. Nothing broke, nothing collapsed. Life just softened around you until resistance disappeared. This is why distractions work so well. They are not designed to destroy you. They are designed to delay you. A delayed man still functions. He still pays bills, still socializes, still dreams quietly. But he no longer moves with pressure. Without pressure, time stretches and dissolves. And here's the dangerous part. Once the mind adapts to low urgency, even opportunity feels intrusive. Real chances create discomfort because they demand speed, risk, and decision. The average man avoids them not consciously, but instinctively. His nervous system prefers what it already knows. That is how 5 years vanish. Not through failure, but through safety, through reasonable choices, through waiting for clarity that never arrives, because clarity follows movement, not the other way around. The people who escape this trap don't see more options. They feel time differently. Time presses on them, it irritates them, it refuses to let them rest comfortably inside routines. This irritation is misinterpreted as anxiety by those who don't understand it. In reality, it is awareness. Once awareness sharpens, tolerance drops. You stop accepting delays. You stop negotiating with distractions. You stop explaining your stagnation, not because someone told you to, but because your internal clock stops cooperating with excuses. This is the moment things begin to shift, quietly. No announcements, no motivation, just a growing refusal to keep living on borrowed time. And once that refusal locks in, the loss stops. Time starts answering to you again. People don't lose 5 years all at once. They leak them, quietly, in fragments so small they feel harmless. 10 minutes of distraction, one delayed decision, another day waiting for clarity that never comes. Over time, this creates a pattern your nervous system accepts as normal. And once something feels normal, it stops triggering urgency. Here is the part no one explains honestly. Time is not stolen by events, it is surrendered by tolerance. You tolerate confusion. You tolerate low standards. You tolerate environments that drain you while telling yourself you'll compensate later. Later never arrives. It only accumulates debt. Notice how average lives are structured. Endless preparation, endless consumption, endless mental rehearsal with no execution pressure. This creates the illusion of movement without displacement. The brain stays busy so it feels productive, but nothing actually shifts. This is how years disappear without resistance. Your identity adapts to the pace you accept. If you move slowly, your self-image recalibrates downward. Ambition becomes inconvenient. Urgency feels uncomfortable. You start protecting comfort instead of outcomes. At that point, you're not choosing your future anymore, you're defending your current state. The real danger isn't failure, it's stabilization. Once your life stabilizes below your potential, every attempt to rise feels like a threat to your nervous system. That's why people sabotage momentum right when things start working. The body prefers familiarity over progress. This is where the 5-year loss locks in. Not because you can't act, but because acting now would force you to admit how long you've delayed. That realization hurts more than stagnation, so the mind creates excuses that feel intelligent. Timing, strategy, more information, all socially acceptable delays. Look closely and you'll see it everywhere. People waiting for permission that will never be given, waiting to feel ready, waiting for certainty. Meanwhile, time keeps recording interest. Compound loss doesn't announce itself, it just matures. The uncomfortable truth is this: if nothing changes structurally, the next 5 years will look eerily similar to the last ones. Different details, same position, same frustrations, same explanations. That's not pessimism, that's pattern recognition. And patterns don't break themselves. You don't recover lost years by realizing they're gone. You recover them by changing what happens next, quietly, without announcing it, without seeking permission. The people who escape this trap don't make dramatic exits. They make subtle shifts that compound while everyone else is still explaining themselves. At some point you notice something uncomfortable. The days feel lighter, faster, sharper. Conversations shorten, distractions lose their grip. You stop arguing with outcomes and start positioning yourself before they appear. That's when time stops slipping. Not because life slows down, but because your attention finally locks onto what matters. Most men wait for clarity before they act. That's another delay. Clarity comes after motion, not before. The ones who regain control move first, adjust second, and let the world catch up later. They understand that hesitation is the real tax, and it's paid daily, silently, in years. You don't need motivation to do this. Motivation fades. You need a decision that doesn't require emotional energy to maintain. Once the decision is made, behavior follows automatically. That's how power actually works. It removes choice from moments where choice causes weakness. This is where people around you start reacting differently. Not because you change personalities, but because you change tempo. You respond slower, you commit faster, you disappear when necessary. You don't explain absences. You don't justify focus. You let results speak in a language that doesn't ask to be believed. The lost years don't announce themselves when they're gone. They vanish quietly, replaced by something heavier, something harder to steal. Momentum, direction, a sense that time is finally working for you instead of against you. If this feels uncomfortably accurate, that's not coincidence. It means you noticed the gap before it closed completely. Most don't. They realize too late, when recovery costs more than effort ever did. So don't rush this moment. Don't dismiss it either. Sit with it. Let it pressure you into alignment. Then act once, decisively, and let the days reorganize around that choice. If you stay here, listening, applying, watching closely, you won't just save years. You'll make sure they can't be taken from you again.